I cried because I'm alive. Like,
among the over 200 recommendations, the final report from the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls also calls for an effective response to human trafficking. It's an issue that hits Indigenous communities particularly hard. Today I spoke to one woman who survived the horrors of human trafficking.
I was abused, sexually abused, physically abused, emotionally abused. I was trafficked for about 10 years. I went into labor on the street corner. When I had my baby, within 10-hour period, I was back on the street corner.
It's a shocking and horrific story, but Rachel Willan is, in a twisted way, one of the lucky ones, because she survived what the MMIWG report is calling a genocide.
And I cried when I was watching it. There are tears of joy, like I survived it. And somebody's finally acknowledging, you know, like the pain and the hurt. I cheated death. So many times, like literally more than 9 lives of a cat. I've almost cut my arm right off. And I put this here to cover it.
Willan was taken into foster care at 2.5 years old. She says she lived in 53 different homes until she was 16. During her time in care, she was sexually assaulted by a much older man who got her pregnant with her first child. After that, she was with a man she thought loved her, but was actually her groomer, trafficking her out for 10 years. He fathered 2 of her kids, and her life continued to be a fight to survive from then on.
We should never have to sell our bodies for food or somewhere to sleep. And that's happening to our women all over. And they're getting younger and younger and younger.
A 2016 public safety report suggests that human trafficking hits the Indigenous community very hard. It found that while Indigenous women only make up 4% of the Canadian population, they roughly make up 50% of trafficking victims. Women under the age of 18 make up approximately 1/4 of the victims of human trafficking. Willan watched the announcement of the final report from start to finish with her husband Matt, who she met after resiliently battling her way out of the life she had. He's trying to undo the post-traumatic stress that still rears its head when he shows her kindness.
18 years later, you still have to feel that way because it's part of things that we go through as women. We shouldn't have to feel that way. And he'll look at me and he'll say, "I love you," and I don't know how to take it because it's so in my core that that's something we have to unlearn, is that it's okay to love somebody. And I'm learning.
Willan says there was too much to absorb today to focus on one solution. She says the place to start is within the homes of Indigenous youth. Families need to be there for their children, support them, and work through their traumas. Willan also says the government needs to support and fund more Indigenous-led programming and alter the child welfare systems to further kids' education during their stays. In Winnipeg, Mike Albanese, City News.